You're watching Lovers Connection. We've been talking about single and sexual in the eyes of Christ, amongst other topics, being godly and or ungodly, and how do you project yourself, and how do you have a relationship with Christ. And I'd like to talk a little bit about, what are some other things that you can do? What are some ways that you can channel your desire for intimacy in healthy ways if you are a Christian, and or I guess I'd say start with as a Christian.
Well, good thing to do is get involved with like small groups or life groups. Go out on fun events with other groups. Go out on dinner dates. Go to entertainment places. To whether it be secular or Christian. Yeah, it doesn't have to be Christian, but for me personally, when I started getting connected in a big church by getting involved with different small groups and different events that was going on within the church, and I got connected to some strong Christian women that were very good inspirations to me.
So nurtured you, and
they nurtured me,
loved on you, and showed you the true values of being a Christian woman, and
absolutely,
and walking in Christ, and how to apply that to your life at where you were at as you grew in your relationship.
Yes, concerts, plays, all of that was that I like doing to help you connect and network with a different type of people now, because I'm not a secular girl anymore, so I had to start building my relationships around things that would keep me strong, keep me focused, and keep me loving Christ. And you can't do that by yourself. You need that accountability and friends around you that are walking and having the same desires and aspirations as you. To go out on an engagement to see one of the inspirational women talk or preach in another state. We do that as girls, right? We went out to St. Louis to see Joyce Myers as a group. It's a lot of things you can do to get engaged in the right direction.
That applies for men as well, because the church has a lot of groups for just men. Because you need to be connected to other men that are living a lifestyle that you can feel good about.
True.
We got a big movement now going on in our church. Sisterhood. It's called Sisterhood, and it's about getting connected with all the sisters within the church and within the different groups, and just doing a big event together.
And then for men, they have Diesel, which is pretty awesome for the men.
Absolutely.
Masculine, with nice fancy cars and motorcycles and
barbecues,
food trucks.
All the men out there thinking they're all fine and sexy and looking at each other like, yeah, look at me, man, I'm buff. What you got going on?
That's the Lava Girl coming up. I've been waiting for a very long time to see when she's going to come out.
Christian men are fun. I mean, men are fun, but Christian men, I think, are much more fun than they have it together and respectful, I would hope, and having good, clean fun.
Absolutely. Lady Sal, did you have anything to add?
No, I can't think of anything else to add to that.
Double love? Double love. Nothing double love.
What do you do? Come on, give us some things you do to keep yourself
channeling your desire for intimacy in healthy ways.
Yeah.
Because everything is always sexually driven, so you have to think of things in ways that you can. What are some things that you do? And I know you're involved in a lot of different things, so you are actually channeling.
Less sexy today.
You are less sexy, Mama.
Usually I
I'm like buttoned up to here.
I know, look at you, you're really
It's
opening up.
It's
I mean, I
opening you
guess
up.
you're opening you up.
Oh, you
You
are
said
dressed
that-
sexy today, by the
Yeah.
way.
Well, yeah, it's open, you know, I was like, oh, no.
So that's your answer?
Yeah, look.
I love it.
Looking sexy, but keeping it intimate, huh? And, you know,
But sometimes
saying-
it's not even like physical or action. It's about guarding our minds. You know, not I mean, it's almost guarding our hearts and our minds, but really our minds from this sexual immorality, because there's so much around us, and we might have those thoughts. So some women even might go to because they really aren't. You know, they might make the mistake, or they're really trying to not have those sexual feelings and emotions. But if they do, they might go to movies, they might go to books, they might go to, you know, romance novels, different things like that. And that's kind of how, so there's a couple different ways and things there that that some people will do. But it's also just saying, hey, you know what? We might be feeling that, but these really aren't this still is not the answer for us. This is really not God's way. It doesn't mean that we can't feel sexual, because, you know, women are tempted to things. We're all tempted. We all have temptations just as much as men do. Christian, non-Christian, whatever. But as far as Christian, we definitely all have temptations and that we're sucked into, and it goes back to some of the things we said in our first session was really, you know, what can we do to not get sucked into that relationship that we think is a godly relationship, you know, by realizing and listening to the Spirit or your feelings or knowing, because really truly that's your cue to say, I'm out of here, I'm running. You can tell me and talk to me and tell me all you want, but it's a decision you make from there. So, it also says to take a lesson from a widow.
That's good. That's wise.
So yeah, take a lesson from a widow.
Why is
So,
that? Do you know?
Well, I was talking about in the Bible, Anna, even though we've never really heard much about her or anything, it was something in her testimony that was recorded in Luke. So I really don't know the story, so I really can't project on that. So it would be something to look into further. But I think maybe if you're a Christian widow, you are exemplifying all the things of a Christian woman, and now that you're widowed, you're still exemplifying that your purity and moving forward with your Christianity and with your beliefs and the
Pick up the
relationship
mic.
you have with God. Excuse me?
I'd say use the mic a little bit.
Get closer to the mic.
I think it's saying,
Yeah.
you know, that we should actually talk with a widow because they have a lot of wisdom to offer us.
Absolutely.
Walking down the road that they've been walking down. They can give us some truth, some experiences, life experiences that may help us along the way.
You know what, one thing I'd like to say is, being widowed, I used to always think my husband worked too long. You know, I'm like, oh, you know, it's 5 o'clock, and I'd be calling him saying, hey, honey, when are you coming home? And then once they're gone, you go, I don't care if you come home at 11:30, just come home. So I think what you learn from maybe a widow is to appreciate what you have.
That's
Because
good.
sometimes you don't
Absolutely.
appreciate what you have until it's gone.
I think you can learn that.
And that's one thing I imparted to other people is hey, you know what, go on that vacation. You have a husband, you know, do those things while you have
Yeah,
somebody
every
to
day.
do them with. And, you know, you appreciate what you have. Because sometimes I didn't, you know, like I said, it was like, hey, I don't care if you come home at 11:30, just come home. But, you know, I was just, well, if you're married to a workaholic or whatever, but you see things in a different light.
And I think here exemplifying what they're saying too is like even with Anna, I mean, she was married and her husband died early, and then she really didn't seek anything outside of sexual intimacy or anything like that. She really, just really gave herself to the Lord, and until it was time to move forward. And that she was 84 years old at that point. But I mean, let's just hope that. I'm not trying to.
I don't want to wait that long.
I know. I don't think I want to either.
Why not though, love?
Yeah.
Because the men get older and there's less. Right now, it seems like
They can't move.
it seems like there's a shortage. I mean, I always ask people, "Hey, do you have any single friends?" You know, because I'm trying to find age appropriate.
Age appropriate, yes.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
difficult.
Yeah, it's
That's
like,
very difficult.
yeah. So
We need to pick up the mic when, don't drag it on the table, don't drag it because you go.
Does that mean we just all become nuns and married to Christ and that's it? Uh-oh. Lady Style over
Lady
there.
Style.
Just
That
about
was
showed
funny, huh?
she didn't get any words out.
That was funny.
No,
But Paul said
I
it-
know that was like funny because
I know.
I went to Catholic schools and I went to all girls Catholic high schools.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, it says that Paul,
No, we're
you
not
know,
going there.
he says that it's because we all have different callings. So some of our callings at that point, even though you're widowed, you know, you're still actually serving like as a wife and as a mother, and wherever you are at that time, you're.
I keep hearing all the time that people say what your calling is, what your purpose is. As a non-Christian, then how would you even know what that is? Is that something that just pops up one day, or you just get a aha moment? You know, some people are searching constantly for their purpose, and it doesn't, you know, for some people it just, boom, it's there. I know what I want to do. So, I mean, I keep hearing this, what's your calling? What's your purpose? What?
Go ahead.
Can I make-
Yeah,
can I-
you go ahead. 'Cause I have to do it.
Yeah, that isn't something that comes natural to know for everybody. However, when you do take classes through the church, they have classes that can identify what your gifts are, and so that
Yeah.
gives you an idea of maybe what your purpose or calling is, because we all have natural gifts. So that
Yeah.
gives us an opportunity to test those things out.
And on
That
top,
may be one way. There may be many other
Exactly.
ways.
What if
And
your
what Mother
gift is
Nature-
not really applicable to, I don't know,
But-
what if, you know, your gift is something that is not really, like, I don't know, how to, you know, that you can apply.
Can you give us as an example what you're thinking?
No, I'm gonna think about that for a minute.
Okay.
But I
Alright.
do know that there are people or persons who, they don't know what their purpose is, they don't know what their calling is.
That's true.
And they may feel left out because, you know, they're just, they wanna know what it is and they don't know what it is. And what if they prayed about it and it's still not there? Then
Well,
what?
Journey
And
to figure
it's
it
a-
out.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a journey.
Go
It's a
ahead.
journey to
Mama.
figure out, but I guess I can relate to that because,
Mhm.
Lady Style, I didn't know what my calling was and my purpose was up until, 7, 8 years ago.
Mhm.
And I found that out because I surrendered
Mhm.
myself to my Creator and Lord and say, Lord, I in my life now, I just feel like I've been going around in circles over and over again, doing the same things, having success, having failure, having good times, having bad times, having great relationships, having bad family issues. But what is it that I am here for? I think that's when I started to really seek out God more and say, you know, it has to be more to life than just a circle.
So
So
how did they
I-
get answered?
How did you find out?
I mean,
I found out by getting
Follow.
by getting involved my daily word and scripture, getting connected to the church, getting connected to myself. I took, when I first did this, I used to go to the beach every morning early and walk. I used to read out there, my devotion sometimes. I used to just listen to the nature around me. I say, you know, these are things I never did before. So right there, that was the start to me finding out what it is I like. So as I continue to do that, and I continue to get more involved in the church and get more involved in community, which means I went and served, something I never did before. All I was about was serving myself. But as I got involved with serving others and serving people that are hurting and in worse conditions than I am, I started to realize my purpose and some of the gifts that I do have. God even showed me how I could use my profession to educate and to let others know that there's a hope in having a home and having your own real estate and being able to live in nice and decent places. And I'm now doing that out in a privatized area in Palm Beach County, teaching girls and young ladies and families that had no hope. Their lights were really dim and they're in darkness out there, to give them some light. So that's one reason or way that I found purpose with my life, is to seek it out, look for change within myself, and ask God to help me through it. That's how I did it.
Good. It's really good, Lava Girl. And I think too what Lava Girl's saying on top of that is that, you know, it sometimes can take time because, you know, where we want to serve, you're involved in the church and you start getting involved in Bible studies and you're surrounding yourself and getting involved in different, you know, activities. But also you might start someplace to serve. You know, it might not, sometimes it's, you know, one thing I'm going to say, it's not about us, it's about Him. And so if there's a need, that's really where we need to be. The need is, we go and we're usually, we should be called to the need, so wherever that might be in the church. And that sometimes is where you start, and then after that, you blossom and you go into different areas within the church until you really find, and He will tell you and speak to you, and you'll really see your divine purpose and calling of where you really need to be. And I can tell you also that the more you grow in your relationship with Christ and you walk that journey and you see yourself grow, you will see when it comes to, like Mother Nature was talking, your spiritual gifts, you will see yourself, as you grow, your spiritual gifts may change. And I can tell you that my spiritual gifts were the same for 2 and 3 years, and just recently, my spiritual gifts have actually changed. That kind of blew my mind, I'm like, there's no way. But it is because I am now working in full-time ministry. So what I'm doing and what I'm called to do is different than I could ever imagine. So my spiritual gifts has completely, in 2 or 3 areas, have completely changed, where I would never think so.
Would you say that God was preparing you for this moment?
I believe He was.
And there was a journey to that.
And there was a journey to
Good
that.
and bad.
And there was a lot of hard lessons to
Yeah.
learn. There's a lot of storms to go through.
Yes.
There's a lot of ups. There's a lot of downs. There's a lot of, oh God, why? Why is this happening? Or I'm feeling like I'm lost.
Yeah.
No, He says, follow me.
Mm-hmm.
Just listen.
Yes,
Follow
listen.
me. Listen to me. Stop telling me what you're going to do and how you want to do it and why you want to do it. So,
You know, literally I can profoundly still hear God's voice speaking to me one day at the beach and the waves splashing up. And all I heard was, continue to seek me. I can hear it in my head over and over again. Continue to seek me. It was just like somebody was standing next to me, walking with me in the sand, talking to me. And I just elaborated on that seek me by understanding what seek means and how I can grow in seeking Him. And that helped me also to build a relationship. because I was a babe in Christ, and I still am. Like I said, I lived most of my life in the church, going to church, but I was never being the church.
Mhm. Absolutely.
I was never being the church. My life didn't exemplify that. But now I can say that it does.
So you're
My
living.
life exemplifies Christ, and He is the church. And He wants us to be the church by going out and being that light and example. So, yes, you're right, Lady Style. There's a lot of people out there that don't know their purpose, and it's hard for them to find it out and still seeking it. But I hope that what I said tonight would really open up some people's hearts and minds to say, you know what, I sound like Lava Girl that was out there just spinning her wheels, lost and thinking that I had it going on. I really did. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I had
I
it
won't
going
say a
on,
thing.
but I didn't. Now I do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else like 00? Mother Nature?
I was just thinking her.
Why were you
I was
thinking-
gonna
why were you
just
thinking?
talk a little bit about finding that passion. You know, certainly when I came here, I was from another state and going through a very difficult time in my life. So I was very focused on what I was going through, but God had different plans and planted me in young people's lives, and how those young people really helped me to see the bigger picture of that my life wasn't so bad. When you watch, you know, young people that are in a really dire situation, and I thought that, you know, God wanted me to reach all of them and make a difference in all of their lives, and that's close to impossible.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
today I have
Yeah.
one young girl in my life that is, she's just so special to me. She's like a daughter, really. And for me, that was my purpose, was to find that one person that I could make a difference. And sometimes that's all that God is wanting us to do, is make a difference in one person's life. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of people, but we are called to affect other people's lives. And yeah, he plants us in the right places. And so if you are looking for a purpose, just get out there and do it. You know, just do it. Just do it. Just find yourself, yeah, people that will lead you the right way. That's it.
Keep an open heart, open mind, and keep an open heart and an open mind, and just be ready, available. You know, you're planting, as Mother Nature said. I mean, we're there to plant seeds. We can't. Sometimes we will. The hardest thing is sometimes we will never see the fruits from that, but there is that one, and that Mother Nature was just talking about, and I've had those experiences as well. And just recently, the night before the hurricane, I ran into a young lady. I was walking into a store and I hear this, ma'am. I look and I'm just trying to dodge it to the restroom. And she said, do you remember me? And I said, I sure do. She said, oh, Miss Shirley Lynn, how I've missed you. She was a child of the system. She was sent away to a program, and she has now finished her program. She has graduated high school. She's on to college. She's got a job, getting her own apartment, and she said, I will always love you for being there.
That makes
So-
all the difference.
So those, and it's hard because sometimes we think that we have to do all these things and be all this, and we don't. Sometimes it's just touching one person's life. Now, how would I think, of course she'd remember me, but I would never think she would remember me that way, because there's so many young women that, I mean, that Lava Girl, Mother Nature, and I work with and have worked with, that, I mean, it's hard to describe. I mean, you'll know, and the other thing is, you'll know, because it's not for everybody.
You will know.
You will definitely know.
You know why you'll know? Because it's going to be totally out of your norm. What you know you would do as
Stepping
a
out in
person.
faith.
You know? you'll know because of that. That'll be a purpose that you know you're now fulfilling, because that's something that you know for sure you would not have done if it was your choice.
Yeah, I had to go through the process of fingerprinting. I thought that was the end of the earth. I had to go through that process when this one said, oh, well, you have to go through that first. And I went, not that I had anything to hide, but I didn't necessarily want to be fingerprinted. But it was a process that I had to go through, and I had to accept that that's what I had to do.
God had me working with children. I don't even. I'm not gonna say I don't like children. I love children, but
She didn't think that's where she was supposed to be going, but that's where you put her.
but there's a big but there.
There's a big
That he had me broken to the point where he took me out to care for some broken children. So we were broken together, and we grew together, and it's been a wonderful journey. Just to pour my love into the city of Belgrade, a city that I never would take time to go and even drive out to look at. So, because I was in the real estate industry, still am, and I know I couldn't make any money out there. There's no money to be made out there. But there's a lot of hurting people out there.
And a lot of
hurting families. So that's where he put me when I asked him, what is it that I need to be doing? And 5-6 years later, I'm still there serving.
And you know, it's not that we're pouring into their lives, but they're truly pouring into our lives more than we could ever imagine. They're, as Mother Nature was saying, they're showing us and things that we never thought that we could endure or see or feel, because their healing becomes our healing sometimes. I can't even explain it, but it's a feeling that you'll just, as Lava Girl said, you'll know. You definitely will know. So whatever your calling might be or your purpose, so
if you have the willingness to love, the willingness to give
and the
of
willingness,
yourself.
and and the willingness to share the love of that.
I understand everything that, there are some people out there that you're saying connect with the church, do this, but there's some people who, unfortunately, fear may be holding them back to connecting to a specific church, or even when they get to a church, they're not really connected to the people there. So for those of us who are lucky to know our purpose and know to be connected with other individuals, you have some people that are really out there that are really all by themselves. So it's
the worst thing you can do is isolate.
The church was just a tool.
Yeah,
Right.
It's
It
not
was
that
other
it may not be
organizations
someone
as well.
who's isolated.
It was just
It
a tool.
just happens to be how their world is right now, or has been for a while. It's not that they were purposely isolating. So then, reaching out might be a little bit difficult for them, or again, they may have to go to several churches before they actually find one that they can connect with people, and or feel that during the sermon what the pastor is saying, they can relate it to their own lives.
That's
connection.
right.
And there's
still
other
talking about connection.
right, and it's not always just, and we were just giving examples like Lava Girl said, but really there's other Christian organizations, and I think a lot of people start there because they're unsure of where their calling or purpose is, and or they connect, because in other organizations you connect with people from all different churches, so you might be able to, you might go in and to a few different churches to really find who you connect with. So if it's with that pastor, or if it's with that youth minister, or if it's wherever you're calling.
Sorry to interrupt, but
Okay.
my mind just went on something. There's a site called Meetup on that you can go to online, right? If people don't want to go into the churches and they're really seeking for a change, maybe they can Google Meetup with outside groups, Christian groups, or a group that just love to go out and serve in a community, or a group that just like to go and love on the children, or do something of that nature.
Right.
You don't have to go into the church.
Right.
Right, and I
That's
think
just
too,
a
sometimes
tool
people are hesitant because it's something
to
they
go
wanna do,
to.
but they need to go with somebody that's already, you know,
Yeah.
connected,
Oh.
and that's really huge.
Or they can contact Candy Love,
Mhm.
because each month at the end of each month, every Friday in at the end of each Friday, we're going to meet in a different location. So, can you guys provide more information regarding that?
Yes, the last Friday of every month, we'll be selecting a restaurant or another area that we want to have a social gathering, and meet you and talk and share and engage, and it's for all of us. So whether you're a Christian or non-Christian, please come out, please join us. Our first one will be October 27th. The time to be determined, we will be posting on our website. We will ask also that you RSVP on our website. It will be posted this week, as well as the location. You can go to www.usdiscoverytalentradio.com. So again,
They need to go to www.usdiscoverytalentradio.com registered, so we'll know
Right.
how many people that are coming. So that you know what I mean. So we can have a bigger place.
so this will be our first
There you
gathering.
go.
So again, go to www.usdiscoverytalentradio.com and register for our first event, which will be Friday, October 27th. And the time will be determined, and the location will be noted on the website as well.
I would like to just reach out to anybody that might be experiencing loneliness or just isolation. I want you to know that the enemy, I don't know if you'll understand what I'm talking about, but the enemy wants to keep you there, and God does not want you there. You really need to reach out, because the enemy will attack you and will drown you. And I don't want you to feel that, you know, reaching out is going to be a bad thing. Reaching out is a good thing, and God wants you to reach out to people that can help you and love on you, because that's what you really need.
Give us a call here at the radio station if you really want to speak to one of us, you know, maybe after the show or something.
What's the phone number?
Phone number here is 561-660-7653. That's 561-660-7653.
Please let them know the show is going to end at 10. If they call after 10 o'clock, they will not find a live person.
Absolutely. We are on air until 10 p.m. tonight. But if you'd like to call and say you'd like to speak to someone, we're open to speak with you.
We'd love to hear what's on your mind, what's on your heart. Do you have any advice for us that you'd like to give us? From being a widow, or from being single, or from maybe being a single person walking through the eyes of Christ, but in purity, but wanting to share like your experience. I mean, anybody that has like a message of hope, maybe a miracle that's happened in your life, we would love to hear it. Again, it's 561-660-7653.
They can call to share their testimony as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Does anybody have a testimony that they would like to share, maybe regarding your calling and your purpose? Any advice that you might have, or something you'd like to share? We would love to hear what's on your mind.
DJ Dr. Diddy.
I our little party next time. Music. What's the music?
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, no one. I was putting it up. We kind of have my head.
It doesn't take much to hold together.
No, but I guess sometimes the night we're kind of getting
Everybody say, I want you to say, welcome to DiscoveryTalentRadio.com.
Welcome to DiscoveryTalentRadio.com. You're tuned into the Lovers Connection. Do we have any callers? 561-660-7653. We'll be here till 10 p.m.
Whoever's going to call me, who's going to talk, whoever's going to talk, let me know so I can turn your microphone on. Like if you want to say something during the music, signal me and I bring your microphone on.
You're tuning into Lovers Connection at DiscoveryTalentRadio.com. Again, we'd like to invite you to our Connect group, our Connect social gathering we'll be having on Friday, October 27th. If you are interested, please RSVP on our website as www.discoverytalentradio.com. Go to the register and RSVP. The location and time to be determined will be posted in the next few days. We look forward to seeing you there.
We're live. We're live right now on Facebook at US Discovery Idol. On Facebook at US Discovery Idol. Please view us there with your thoughts.
We're just going to let the music play. You guys, you can talk among yourself.
Okay.
The microphone, everything is mute.
Okay.
Okay. So you're fine. You can talk among yourself. And because the music is playing, you'll find more people kind of curious. They listen to the beautiful music, they will be kind of curious. What we do each time we talk, we take like half an hour, we're going to take a break, put music, take it, okay?
Yeah, that's good. Half hour, we'll bring the music up.
Yeah.
Remind them.
Yeah.
I should say a nice song for you guys.
I love this. I love this.
I'm just my partner.
Who is this?
We want to say that Christian women do know how to have fun.
Thank
We
you.
can get the sass on. We can be sassy.
That's it. That's why we have a beautiful music. You know, get it on. Every half an hour, we just slide in music and everything. You guys, you can clap your own yourself. We can't decide. Good job. All of you did a great job. As time, I'm seeing you guys getting more comfortable. So, that's Welcome back.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us tonight at USDiscoveryTalentRadio.com as you were tuned in to the Lovers Connection. We'll see you again next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, we thank you for joining us. We welcome your comments, your concerns, suggestions. Go to Discovery Idols Facebook page, US Discovery Idols, Facebook.com.
Or go to www.usdiscoverytalentradio.com, registered, so we'll know how many of you that
are interested in joining us for our Social Connect event on Friday, October 27th. Again, we thank you for joining us. Keep the love on.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
you guys are not out yet. No, I'm doing it on purpose. It's fine. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. It's fine. That's, people's going to enjoy the music. Okay? You guys, you can dance, move, and everything. That's fine.
Oh, that's nice.
What time is that going to start?
Okay.
You can have fun.
Oh, yeah. Probably 6:30.
Probably.
Everybody works.
I gotta figure out the rest of these
Lovers Connection.
Yeah, what is it?
Party. I'm just gonna stick for myself.
That's good.
Okay.
All
Okay,
done?
turn
We're off
down.
the air?
All right.
Good. Did anybody
So-
sign up yet? Register?
We have some people registered, like so far, like 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is it gonna be, like a venue that you grab something to eat or dance or?
Well,
Whatever.
it's going to be a venue that we're